Hi everybody, Andy Scott here, and I just want to talk about something that I did at my BNI group last week. We all get a chance to stand up and have a few minutes every few weeks to talk about kind of what we do and the way we do things. Great group. If you've not been, I suggest going along to one. But the talk that I did, I wanted people to sort of understand that what I try and help people to do is not just think about how to handle an objection or the customer transition or avoiding reactants or all that kind of stuff. You can get that out of a book. What I try and do is just help people to think about themselves and the world a little bit differently. So thinking differently and standing out. It's a difficult, crowded world out there. And I think if you don't find a way to stand out, then it's a way to be instantly forgot. And people enjoy spending time with people in general that are not too overbearing, but are reasonably interesting and stand out in some way. So whatever I'm trying to do, I always try and leave a little bit of impression and I try and stand out. So whether I'm being Zorro the pimp, whether I am being the happy Scotsman, whether I am taking my new shoes for a walk around the call centre, or whether I'm out doing some Christmas shopping. Whatever I'm doing, I just try and have a bit of fun with it. Don't take myself too seriously, but that doesn't mean that I don't take what I do seriously, and try and stand out in some way. Now, the world is a crazy, crazy place, and I was quite surprised to find out on the day that I was born, there was 3,397,475,247 people on this planet. And yes, I was a particularly cute baby, if I say so myself. The thing is now that there is approaching 8 billion people on this planet. The world is going crazy. And to give you a bit of context, in the height of the Roman Empire, there was only 300 million people on the planet. So the last couple of thousand years, we've had this massive explosion. And this explosion means that there's more people trying to stand out, more people fighting for their piece of the pie, which is very probably your piece of the pie. And in order to get it, they've got to find different ways of standing out and different ways of looking at the world. Interesting stat for you as well, that 1% of the people on this planet earn more than the other 99% of people combined. So to put that into context, that's round about 80 million people earning more than the other 7.9 billion people put together. So how do they do this? How do the 1% stand out? When I ask this question, a lot of people will say it's obviously hard work. And you know what? Hard work is a fantastic trait to have. Hard work is something that most employers will value. But most of the lowest paid jobs on the planet will also require you to work hard. Hard work on its own is not a guarantee of success. I think that the reason that they stand out compared to the other 99% of us is that they are infinite players and we are finite players. I know that I'm a finite player. I don't have a problem with that. But the people that are out there, these multi-billionaires, these look at the world differently. These are infinite players. So are you there to do your best? Or are you there to do what it takes? And I think this is the simplest way to try and identify those of us that are out there trying to make a good living, working hard, doing a good job for the people that employ us, or the people that are out there just doing whatever it takes for as long as it takes. So, who are not infinite players? I can tell you right now that taxi drivers in New York are not infinite players. It's a well-known fact that on a rainy day in New York, as the day goes on, it is almost impossible to get a taxi. Why? Because these taxi drivers have got a glass ceiling. They've got a glass ceiling that an amount of money that they need to hit a day that they are happy with, and when they hit that or go over that by a small amount, they tend to go home. Does that make them lazy? Absolutely not. On a sunny day, there are cabs absolutely everywhere. And these guys have still got a daily rate to hit. They've still got an amount of money that they need to support their families. And they will stay out there for 8, 10, maybe even 12 hours. They're not lazy. They're just finite players. And Simon Sinek talks about an experiment that he did with a homeless person. And he was asking this homeless person how much they made a day begging. And they said that they made between $20 and $30. $30 was a good day. So they could feed themselves and get somewhere to sleep for the night. And they would be out there, again, potentially 8 to 10 hours begging to get this $30. So Simon Sinek changed the sign, put something more poignant on it. This beggar made $40 in 2 hours, and then they went. Why? Were they not desperate enough? Were they not hungry enough? Absolutely. But they're just finite players. They've got a glass ceiling of what their world looks like. Once they've reached it, they went home. They could have made $150, $200 that day, but it didn't matter because they'd reached their glass ceiling. So who are infinite players then? A couple of examples would be Richard Branson and Elon Musk. These are people that don't play just to hit this next lot of KPIs, this month or this quarterly's profit and loss account, to pay the mortgage on a nice house and have a nice holiday. They don't play for this. They play for much bigger reasons. They play for what they are now looking at is improving the world, not just their world, even improving the universe. You know, these are people that want to conquer space, colonize the moon. Their thought process is far bigger than, you know, am I going to make enough profit this month to pay the bills? So these are infinite players. Somebody else that's an infinite player is the Ukrainian army. Switch it about a little bit there, I know, but it's quite interesting because the Russians went in there as a finite player. 10 days to go in, shock and awe, take over Ukraine, stamp their authority on it. When it didn't work, it very quickly started to shift the balance of what was happening, because the two armies are doing it for very different reasons. The Russian armies are finite. Get in, get this done on a time scale. They're there because they've been paid to be there. They're not there because they've got this overwhelming drive like the Ukrainians have. The Ukrainians are infinite players. They're there to protect their homeland, their families, their beliefs, and they will do whatever it takes. They're in it for as long as it takes to win. And it's interesting through history because you can look at this over and over again. The Russians again with the Afghans, the Americans with the Vietnamese. You know, it's very difficult for a finite player to beat an infinite player over a protracted period of time. So what about COP27? Last thing I want to leave you with, COP27. Are the people at COP27 finite players or infinite players? Who's there for the right reasons? There's people at COP27 with a lot of skin in the game. Some have got a lot of skin in the game because they make a lot of money out of what is causing the global warming issues. And some have got a lot of skin in the game because their countries are suffering from the repercussions of the people that are causing the global warming issues. So who's there because they really want to be an infinite player and just do whatever it takes for as long as it takes to solve the problem? And who's there because they want to look like they're interested, but really they're still protecting what they do? Just an interesting thought that I had. Listen, hope you've enjoyed the video. Always a pleasure. I'll speak to you soon.